Hello, everyone, and welcome to VLANT Video Lighting, Audio, Music, and Photography How-To Show. I am, of course, your host, Matt Haslam, and today we have an awesome show planned for you all. This is episode 134. It's crazy to think that we're already at episode 134 of the show, but we've created, God, it must have been like about 2 days of content for you guys, and keep coming out with more and more stuff as time goes on here. But it's kind of crazy. And as we're sort of ending season 5 here this coming month, we're looking ahead towards season 6 and a whole bunch of things to come with that season. So yeah, we have a lot to talk about today, and of course we have questions that you've submitted over the past month. But if you have any questions that you want to ask us and you haven't had a chance yet, please do leave them in the chat, the live chat for this video, and we will answer them live on the program. So first I want to kind of talk about a really big announcement that I kind of want to just get out here. As I said, season 6 is coming up here very shortly. It's premiering in January 2018. We have a couple episodes recorded, a couple episodes we're in the process of recording and in the process of editing, but obviously we have a little ways to go on season 6 because obviously there's like 50 some episodes to create, and I want to take this opportunity. That's the schedule, by the way, that we're planning on, the same schedule as always. As far as season 5 went, season 5 was Mondays at 8 p.m. every week. You get a brand new episode. Every day you get a brand new daily video at 10:30 a.m. and you get a brand new live stream during the first Monday of each month at 9 p.m. like this one right now. So we're planning the same kind of schedule, but we kind of want to get your opinions on this, because what we've noticed in the past, how many years? 2014, so 3 years of doing this show. Now it's going to be 4 years doing this show, 6 seasons of the show, is that the videos that do the best are the videos that are like about writing music video scripts and The Amazing Race TV show, how to build a road case. Those are kind of the videos that do the best on the channel. And I don't mind them doing really well. That's great that they're doing really well. But I kind of want to get your opinions on what we should create for season 6, because I don't want to put a bunch of time and effort, and especially money, because it does cost money to make this show. That's why we have sponsors. That's why we have featured and sponsored content sometimes. It does cost money to make this show. But I don't want to invest a bunch of time and effort into making episodes that you guys aren't enjoying. And so if you guys have any question or have any if you guys have any suggestions as to what you would like to see on this show, it would be greatly appreciated if you can comment those suggestions either during the live chat tonight or during the actual show, or the rebroadcast video on demand of this program. It'd be great if you could comment those and let us know. I'm also going to be posting probably a little tiny video on the side of, hey, if you have any suggestions you want to make, please do leave them in the comments. Because I don't want to make season 6 a whole bunch of videos about how to make music video scripts. I don't want to do that. And I don't think I'm going to do that anyway. I have a whole bunch of ideas in my head, but I kind of don't want to produce some of them because maybe they're not going to do so well on the channel. And I don't want to put, as like, some of the ideas that I'm thinking about are pretty lengthy topics to talk about, and I kind of want to get a bearing of not only what content you guys want to see, but at what length you want to see. So the show typically runs between 10 and 20 minute episodes, and I kind of want to see if we can either do that or extend that a little bit, because the live streams are like like an hour long or something like that typically. And we had an episode, how to create a Stranger Things intro sequence, which was right about an hour, I think. About an hour. I'd have to check that. But these episodes are typically between 10 and 20 minutes, and I want to see if that's okay with you. Maybe you guys want to see shorter videos. Maybe you guys want to see longer videos. The Stranger Things, yeah, that was an hour and 5 minutes long, and that didn't do so hot. I know the 20 more film terms you need to know in the film industry. That series was a quite lengthy series that we took to produce it, and it's not doing so hot. But I know that like this past season, past couple weeks, best Black Friday deals and best Cyber Monday deals, that's doing amazing. On the count on all channels, not just YouTube, but I know that's doing really, really well. So if you guys want to see more lists and stuff like that, please do comment that as well. I'm happy to do like list of items. Like just tonight, an hour ago, we premiered 5 more great Christmas gifts for under $15, which you can buy for your loved ones in the filmmaking industry or entertainment industry in general. So that just premiered tonight, and that's doing pretty well so far. So those kind of things I can produce a lot more of if you guys want to see that. So if you guys want to see that kind of content in the future, please do leave that in the live chat. Let me know what you want to see. Let me know at what length you want to see. Maybe you want to see longer content. You want to see maybe an hour-long episodes. Maybe you want to see 5-minute episodes at maximum. You know, what kind of time and what kind of content do you guys want to see? I have a bunch of ideas in my head. This isn't me saying that I'm running out of ideas. This is me saying I have a bunch of ideas, and I want to see what on my list corresponds with your list of what you want to see. Now that we have a huge audience or a semi-huge audience, I want to know what you want to see. I want to create the content you want to watch, something that you're going to click on, something that you're going to enjoy, because that's what's really going to help our channel grow even further in the future. With all that said, I have my chocolate milk, so we're going to be Penn and Tethering it up tonight with some chocolate milk. And I know there's some people in the audience that are watching and expect me to drink chocolate milk at this point because I've had this every live stream so far. And yeah, I have it again. And we're going to answer all of your questions, both that you submit live and those that we have in the pool from this past month that you submitted. So we're going to get into that now. But like I said, if you have any suggestions or commentary on our content so far on this channel, now that we're at 134 episodes, there's a lot of content for you guys to enjoy, and there's a lot of content for you guys to choose from and say, hey, I like this, I don't like that, you know? And we're starting to get to the point where I finally have enough content out there that I can say, you guys like this, and you don't like that. Unfortunately, like, I think, like, I want to create more music video content, but I'm always like, well, I want to create more editing stuff because I'm really, it's a lot simpler to do editing tutorials than it is to do music video tutorials. So, behind the scenes isn't all that easy to do. But anyway, we're going to have some chocolate milk and enjoy our questions because we have a bunch of them because, you know, people. So, question away in the chat below while I'm taking a swig. And yes, I probably have a mustache now. More than I already had. But anyway, are you guys asking questions on Facebook too? Because we're also streaming there. All right, first question up tonight from Reese Harper. Sorry if I botched your names. It's just a thing I do. I really need a cough box. I just have a mixer over there. All right. I love some tips on recording clear voiceover. It might mean this is pertinent to what I just said. It might mean purchasing a different mic, or it might mean using different settings. But I have a Sennheiser MKE 600, which is a really good shotgun mic, by the way. And while the audio with just a voice is certainly of good quality, it still picks up a noticeable ambient noise. Amount of ambient noise, I'm guessing he means. I like to get a more isolated vocal, like you're sitting in a very quiet room right next to a person talking. How can I get closer to that sound without going into a professional studio? I know it won't be perfect, but improvement would be great, and any tips are appreciated. Well, Reese, my biggest suggestion to you would be, let me just get off of this really quick so I can show you what I'm actually using right now. It's a Shure SM58 microphone. And with it, I have a wind guard / like when you pronunciate a P, a T, an S, there's a bunch of letters like consonants that when you pronounce them, you're actually like pitiful. You know, that sounds horrible in a microphone. So we have wind guards for that. You can get yourself one of those. Use a dead cat if you need to, which is not an actual cat for those watching that don't know what I'm talking about. If you don't know what I'm talking about by saying that, then you should probably watch my series on the channel, What's a Dead Cat, and all these film terminology things. You can use a dead cat. You can also, I think the cheapest thing to do, either by getting yourself some foam for the microphone, that's about $2-3, is it? So about $2 or $3 for that. It's not that much money. This I think was like $2, so it's really not that much. I know shotgun mics. I know the more popular versions like the MKE 600, they have foam things. I think they come with foam. That's the weirdest part. So you might already have it in your box. Use that. Even if you're in a studio, use it. But I think another really cool solution that you could get is just like, rather than going to a professional studio, which I'm kind of used to now in the industry, because with bigger budgets comes, you know, the people wanting better things, and you know, with that I have to like give them a quality product, but I think with that you can go to a studio, or if you don't want to go to a studio, then certainly just basically set up in your house, like walk into a closet or something like that with a bunch of clothes in it, take like a handful of clothes out from the middle and record in there. And that's a perfect, like, rather than a whole bunch of foam, use clothes, you know? If you're the one doing the voiceover. If you have someone else, like a professional actor, you might want to do it not in a closet. I know I've had professional actors come into go into the closet and like record at like my house or my office before, and it works. Hey, if it works, it works, you know, kind of thing. Professional actors aren't above doing that, but I think you should try to maybe invest, like, I think it's like $20 or $30 into some sort of just get a piece of big foam, or like mattresses or something. Really, any sort of thing that's going to just kill the sound from going out or from coming in. It depends on where you're recording at. If you're trying to get this studio quality sound outdoors, it's not going to happen. If you're trying to get that in like an office building, it's not going to happen. If you want a professional sounding voiceover, go to a very quiet place, such as your house. If you don't have a bunch of kids rolling around, go to some sort of place in your house, like the attic or something like that, and set up like $5 of foam around the microphone and around the person, you know, even if it doesn't look that great, it's a voiceover booth. It's not supposed to be this, thing that's going to be televised to the world, Um, seriously, just listen to this microphone. Okay, so the thing you have to understand is shotgun mics are made for outdoor things or even indoor things, but they're made for sound that's farther away, to pick up sound that's farther away, because it's narrowing the path of what that microphone picks up. And so you're supposed to be using those shotgun mics on, I think it's distances between like 10 feet away and 100 feet away. I'd have to look at that specific microphone to figure it out, but I know most shotgun microphones are made for things farther away. Whereas if you get something like a Shure SM58 microphone, which is a industry standard vocal microphone, it's made for things that are about an inch or two away from your subject. So it's a lot better for voiceover work. That's why I record all my voiceover work with this microphone. I have a bunch of them in the office because it's a lot better to have all of your actors do their lines at the same time sometimes. I also sometimes use Samson CO2 cardioid microphones for voiceover work, but that's on the rare occasion that I have a specific voice which really requires it. A proper audio technician would be able to come into the studio and be like, not studio, but a proper audio technician and a sound designer like myself can come in and say, okay, for this specific voice, I need this microphone. And I'm kind of lucky in the fact that I have a bunch of microphones to use, and I can say this voice for this microphone, this voice for that microphone, and pick and choose as much as I want. But for the most part, it's all an SM58 microphone. So I would say if you don't have a bunch of money to spend, get yourself like $5 or $10 of foam at the local craft store, put it around your subject, use your mattresses, use blankets, comforters, send them into the closet to, record with all the clothes in there, anything like that. But if you're maybe if you have $100 budget, which you might want to think about, get yourself an SM58 microphone. They're really, really really great microphones for this purpose. And if you go to a channel on YouTube, not only like all the voiceover work and all the computer tutorials that I have on this channel are recorded with this microphone, and they're recorded with a small USB mixer over here into the computer, but it's a Yamaha mixer. But you don't necessarily have to do that. You can plug this directly into a Zoom H4n or whatever you have. Keep that in mind too. So you need proper like recording on the other side. So it's really all about what the microphone is made for. Shotguns again are made for bigger venues and longer distances, and SM58s are for very close, intimate things because they have a bigger diaphragm inside that allows them to get a lot cleaner, deeper tones that I think you're after. So if you have a little bit bigger budget, you can go that way. And I think if you get it from certain dealers, you can get a mic stand with a boom arm that I am actually using right now, as you can see. Get a mic stand with a boom arm, and you might be able to get a cable with it as well, an XLR cable. So that's what I would do, and invest like $2 into some foam for your actual microphone so that people aren't like spitting on it. You can also get one of those like $11 things that clamp onto your boom arm and then come out, and there's like a little disc here that you would speak into, and that's a spit guard or a wind guard. So get that as well. Really, just invest a little bit of money, and I think you'll be good with proper clean audio there. And that's the way I've seen it used on a lot of bigger productions now. Really, it's not always this $1,000 microphone. It's sometimes $100 SM58, you know? So I just got done recording a voiceover of myself for a statewide commercial. And I recorded that with an SM58, and they were really, really happy with it. So I know for a fact SM58s are great microphones. And I'm talking a lot tonight, so I'm having more chocolate milk. Sorry. Next question. From Justin Giddings. Yeah, I think that's it. All right, what's the most frugal way of duplicating DVDs and Blu-rays? Well, I think to answer that, I would need to send you to this website, CD Baby. They are absolutely amazing at duplicating disc. Here's some of their pricing. Really, you can go on here. Let me just actually get rid of the question so you can actually see the whole screen here. But you can go on here and see basically exactly what you want. You can click next for CDs or DVDs, whatever you want. And yeah, let me just DVDs. Let's say you want a DVD. No, I want a DVD. Yep. So I want a DVD with content, color printing, single layer. I know there's this other site, discmakers.com. You can go to. CD Baby is owned by Discmakers. You can go to Discmakers directly and get pricing from them. They're both the same prices, only Discmakers makes Blu-rays, multi-disc sets, vinyl records. They also do custom USB flash drives, which I sometimes use for bulk orders. And you can get Blu-rays from here. Really, it's very inexpensive. Like here, you can get quantities of 1 to 5,000 of them. You know, really, it's not that much. So let's say you only wanted one of them, and you didn't need 300 or you didn't need 5,000. Really, for a Blu-ray to duplicate it, it's like $15. So that's not that bad. Let's say you need a lot of my orders for like 100, right? For 100 of them, $400 basically. So $4 a piece. That's not that bad. A lot of what I do is DVD, so I can choose, hey, I want a DVD, I want with content. That way they put the content on for me. I don't have to worry about that. I just send them the end file. I can print on it whatever I want. I can send them my design of whatever I want printed on it. And I can pick my packaging, whatever kind of packaging I want, or I can get bulk, just budget packaging with no packaging at all. You can pick a whole bunch of different things here. It's really, really quite simple. And really, there's nowhere that I've found that's less expensive than Discmakers or more trustworthy than them, because they do a amazing job at getting you a quality product in the end. There might be cheaper places out there, but they're not as good from what I found. And really, I mean, you can order, if I order this right now, what I just showed you, it would like get here next week, I think. Is that it? Yeah, next week. So, I mean, can you really ask for better service than that? So, they're a great company, and if you live in the continental U.S., then they're the best bet. If you live in another country, then you might want to figure out what's in your country first, and then check out Discmakers. But I'm not sponsored by them. I know they are a distributor. CD Baby is a distributor of my music store. So they get a commission off of what they sell for me, but I'm not paying them, or they're not paying me to say this. and I'm not getting paid to like answer your question for them. So I just know they're a great company, and they've worked incredibly well for me in the past. And I mean, no matter how many you need, really, DVDs and Blu-rays, the way to go is disc makers or CD Baby, which is owned by disc makers. So they're literally disc maker. All the CD Baby stuff is made in disc maker's factory and just shipped out with a different company name on it. Both companies are one and the same. It's just I think CD Baby is more of their music brand, and disc makers is more of their, well, let's just make discs and DVDs, and let's just make USB flash drives and vinyls, and let's just make the items. And CD Baby is more of their, let's sell the music, kind of brand. But overall, a great company to use, and really best frugal one I can think of at the moment. Yeah, I can't really think of any other company that is better than them or more frugal. Next question comes in from Robert Scott. I have a question. Well, go ahead, Robert. We shot a movie in 4K and rendered in 1080p. Now a presenter wants a Blu-ray version. Does this make sense? How would I do this? Well, sort of pertaining to the last question we got, how you would do it is just, if you need them in bulk, then go somewhere like disc makers. If you only need one, if it's typically presenters only need one copy. But I understand the root of your question here. It's a difficult thing that sometimes people want. I know there's times when we shoot things in 4K and then we render them in 1080, just like you, 1920 by 1080. And that sometimes is annoying because you say to yourself, I have all of this data that I just recorded, and then I'm just like cutting it, or shrinking it down. And I know there's people out there that say, and you're actually right to say that, it's better quality than you have more pixels per inch, and that's true. But I know I just totally messed up my hair. I don't know why I did that. But I know when you're shooting in 4K, you want to export in 4K. That's kind of why you shoot in 4K. There's this technique that you can, shoot in a better resolution, and then you can choose your framing later. But really, if you're a talented videographer, you should choose your framing live. You should choose your framing right there. That's sort of along the same lines of, we'll fix it in post. No, fix it live, then worry about it later. There's a reason why I just got done a photo shoot, and my customer was like, hey, why don't you just fix that in post? And I'm like, no, let me take 5 seconds and fix it now, and then every photo I take will be great, instead of me fixing it in post where I have to painstakingly sit there and change the settings on every single photograph for 100 photographs. No, let me change it live, take 5 seconds to do it, It's sort of like that same mentality of, if you're going to shoot in 4K, export in 4K. But I've been in your shoes before, Robert, and I know it's sometimes annoying to export in a lower quality than what you shot, because you worked really hard to get what you shot. You worked really hard to frame up your shot all perfect. That way it's a great shot. And if you do everything properly during production phase, it is that, oh, why do I have to export at such a low quality? That's not to say, I mean, a lot of times I just shoot in 1920 by 1080p, and that's absolutely fine. 99% of the time I'm shooting in full HD and not UHD. But when I do shoot in UHD, it is annoying to downgrade it. But I will say that it is perfectly normal for presenters or people in general to ask for something in a lower quality than what you've shot or exported. I know for a fact every time, like, it's one of these things that really gets me, because when we're filming something in full HD, let's say we're filming a concert for a band, or filming, I don't know, I'm trying to think of projects that we've done recently that have been like DVD duplication kind of things. Um, I know a lot of times when we shoot something in full HD, and let's say the customer says to me, "Oh, I really, really want DVDs of this," kind of like breaks my heart a little bit. And that's why this year I've really gotten very strong on board of the idea of, hey, rather than DVDs, how about you get USB flash drives? Because then you're getting the full HD version, you know? And that way, when uh, I'm bringing in 1920 by 1080p footage, I'm exporting 1920 by 1080p footage, and then I can put on their USB flash drive 1920 by 1080p footage. Whereas if I take it to a DVD, suddenly I have to cut that down to a maximum of 1080 by 720p footage. So I'm downsampling my full HD footage down to SD quality footage. And that's not good at all. So I don't like to do that. Sorry, downsampling to HD, but not full HD footage, and I don't like downsampling in order to fit something on a DVD, because DVDs only take so much, or Blu-rays take so much. It becomes annoying, but at the same time, that's what the customer wants. And I know presenters anyway, when you're presenting at like a film festival, it depends on where you're presenting at, but certain projectors at excuse me, at these places only take certain footage, you know, and so you might have one theater that, you know, can present full HD footage, can present 4K footage, because there are some theaters nowadays that do 4K. Sorry, I'll misspoke there. We're live. I can't cut that out. There are a lot of theaters that can do 4K footage. There are a lot of theaters that can do full HD, but there are some theaters out there, even some bigger ones that you might think are all advanced, they can only do, you know, 1080 by 720 or 720 by 480. And so I know it sucks, but at the same time, if they can't show your big footage, then maybe their computers aren't fast enough, maybe their projector isn't fast enough. Whatever the case, is it better to, let me ask you this, Robert, is it better to downsample it to something that they can project, that they can put out, and see what it's going to be like on your screen, on your computer, before it presents to an audience of 1,000 people? Is it better to downsample it and see what it's going to look like in front of you? Or is it better to give them this 4K thing and then, you know, pray to God that it works on their projector or whatever, and pray to God that it looks good on their projector? You know, I'd much rather downsample it here in my office and see what it's going to look like, and then send it out, you know? And that way, you know, I'm controlling the situation. And I know it sucks, and sometimes I feel like disheartened when I'm sending a client a project on like a DVD or something like that, when I know I shot it in 4K or something. Or a lot of times nowadays I'm just shooting in, maybe I'll shoot in like 2.7K or something like that, just to get a certain shot. And it sucks to downgrade it, I know. But at the same time, I say to myself, well, here's the thing. It's what the customer wants. And so I always give the option to people. And I always say to them, whether it's a customer or it's a presenter showing one of my things, I say to them, okay, I can downsample it for you to a Blu-ray version, to a USB. I can downsample it to a DVD, a Blu-ray, or whatever you need to present on, right? But here's the thing. I'll give you that version downsampled, but I'm also going to give you a version that's full HD on a USB flash drive or on a on YouTube, you know, a lot of my customers get YouTube links along with it, and so I say to them all the time, really, a lot of my customers like that buy, 100 DVDs of something, I'll give them a free USB flash drive with their order because I want to give them one full HD copy of that project, regardless of how many downsampled versions they're getting. I want to give them a full HD version as well. And that way they have both in their hand. And there's some customers that come back to me and say, wow, this USB flash drive version looks a ton better than this downsampled version on a DVD or a Blu-ray. And I say to them, that's because I downsampled it. And they start to understand that, hey, through this process that I wanted the MHP to go through to downsample this to a DVD, we lost a lot of great data there. And there's a lot of customers that have now slowly evolved into the thing of stop asking me for DVDs and start asking me for USB flash drives in bulk, or just say to me, because here's the thing. I mean, I always say to my customers, I don't make very much at all off of the DVD duplication or USB duplication. I'm not making a ton off that side anyway. Really, I'd much rather give you a great quality video and you can have as many copies as you want almost at cost, just enough for me to kind of feel like it's worthwhile for me to go through the trouble of getting it duplicated, So a lot of times I just send them a USB and they're really, really happy with that. And there's some customers now that have said to me, hey, rather than sending me any copy at all of this, just send me a YouTube version. And that way they can share it with all of their friends and family and their customers on YouTube. And that's good enough for them. They don't need this completely completed file on a USB. They don't need DVDs of it. They'd much rather just a YouTube version. And that's absolutely fine with me. Because really it's no difference to me how they want this product. I just want to give them the best quality I can. And really how you do it, if you're asking this in a very technical aspect, then you just go into your Adobe Premiere or Final Cut or whatever program you're using, and you say, you tell your editor that basically rather than exporting this in 1080, you want to export it for, I believe it's MPEG-2 for DVD or Blu-ray. There's different options there. There's like a list of different options of how you want to export your file in either Final Cut or Premiere, and you can just choose, hey, I want this to go to Blu-ray, and it exports a version that's great for Blu-rays. The only thing is that I noticed if you have a really long project, such as if we're filming a concert or something, we really have to look at the time and say, DVDs can only hold about an hour and a half of footage. Blu-rays, I forget how much they can hold, but it's about the same. So if there's a concert that's like 3 or 4 hours long, I can't fit that on a DVD without really downgrading the bit rate of the video and downsampling it to almost look like shit kind of thing. And that's sometimes the thing you have to talk with your customers on is, hey, if I downsample this to put it on a Blu-ray or a DVD for you, it's way too long to fit on a DVD in the best resolution I can, so I'm going to need to downsample it even further than what I normally have to, and so you might want to consider just going a different route to present this or broadcast this, or you might want to just figure out how to give them a USB flash drive of the project in full HD. So all things to think about in how you get your customers the product, but it does make sense that a presenter might want it in a downsampled version, and it does make sense why a customer would want that as well. Unfortunately, yeah, you shot into 4K, you're exporting in full HD, even if you were exporting in 4K, it's still that even if you were shooting it in full HD and exporting in full HD, no matter how you look at it, it's still one of those moments of eh, there's this separation still in. And I guess that's why we have careers as videographers in in the industry. Why we're paid to do our jobs is because there's this separation between what everyone else knows about video settings and stuff and what we know about the video settings. And so sometimes we have to take it upon ourselves to bridge that gap between the two. And if someone doesn't understand, hey, I want this on a Blu-ray, and they think I'm still gonna get they shot this in 4K, and I want it on Blu-ray or I want it on a DVD. They sometimes do have the feeling that they are gonna get this 4K product, and sometimes it's our job to kind of say, hey, that isn't how technology works. Just like if I was, like let's say I needed my furnace cleaned at my house or something like that. I don't know how to do that. And there's this separation between myself and my heating guy that sometimes he has to explain to me that, hey, it takes this much time to do this job. I need this little part that's going to really help your furnace. Just like that kind of gap that he bridges with me, I have to have that same sort of gap to bridge. I have to build the same bridges with my customers. And so what I would do is talk to the presenter, talk to your customer or whoever it is, and see if you can bridge that gap. Maybe they don't need a Blu-ray version. Maybe they can take a different version in 1080, but maybe you can. Maybe they can't, and maybe you do have to downsample it. But explain to them that you're going to have to downsample it, and it's not going to be the same quality. The more you try to explain in this, the better it's going to be in the end. I have always firmly believed in the fact that, the more we share information with our customers, the better everyone else is going to be off in the end. And so with that, I'm going to move on to the next question. But like I said, if you have any comments on that, please do leave them again in the chat, and I will answer that question further. But like I said, we're going to move on right now with some good old chocolate milk. And then we'll get on to the next question. Like I said, guys, if wow, I came back to the mic way too early from that. If you have any questions for the show, I will answer those live on the program tonight. So leave them in the live chat or on the video on demand, and I will answer them in next month's live stream. Next question comes in from Richard Tomlinson. It's weird. I can actually pronounce half these names tonight. That's actually kind of surprising. I hardly ever get all the names. To be fair, some of your names are weird. And some of your usernames are really weird. But tonight I'm actually getting half the names. So I'm kind of impressed with myself. And I kind of want to pat myself in the back right now. Without hitting my microphone and screwing up all of your ears. Sorry for blasting your ears right there. But anyway, Richard Tomlinson says, I want to do a bird's eye shot of a room. Thinking can do the. Wow. Okay. So your name's fine. Your English is a little off, and so is my focus. Sorry, guys. I hope that's better. I want to do a bird's eye shot of a room. I'm thinking I can do this by attaching a boom arm to a stand, but what would I need to attach the camera securely to the boom arm? Thanks. Do I have any of them with me? Super clamps. They are your friend. Actually, so I would look into grip gear, a lot of grip gear, because grip gear is awesome. Oh my god, grip gear is the best thing you will ever buy. I am obsessed with grip gear. I'm like, I'm the guy on set that's always like, hey, can I be the key grip? Just so I can work with grip equipment. Um, and all my coworkers are at the TV station and even at my company are like, Matt, you need to calm down with the grip gear sometimes. A lot of times, actually, because I go crazy sometimes. I like grip gear a lot. It's fun. So I work with it a lot. But look, invest in or get some, rent some, borrow some grip gear for the day. So uh, to get a bird's eye shot, you could do it a couple different ways. The first is do a C stand up in the air with a boom arm on top of it, and then you can attach the camera to the boom arm or the C stand using a super clamp. It's called a super clamp. You can just research them on B&H Photo Video or any of the websites out there. Just look up photography super clamp and you'll find it. They are amazing, and certain ones come with they come with lighting studs in them already. That way you can attach different lighting equipment to it. I know I use them in my studio a lot to attach the boom arm for my microphone to my desk. I use it to attach the camera to my desk overhead thing. I use super clamps to attach my lights to the grid system in my office, my studio. I use them to attach cameras up high on trussing for a lot of different like dance recitals and different live events where I want a really unique angle. I use them to attach cameras to drum sets and stuff like that for when we're doing a concert. A whole bunch of things you can use these for. They're about $16 to $18 on Amazon. You can buy them from Cowboy Studio on Amazon. They're the ones that I have. All of the ones I have are Cowboy Studio ones. They're perfect. You can buy Impact version, which is the B&H Photo Video brand, Impact. You can buy them on B&H's website. You can buy a whole slew of them. I think they're about $20 a piece. So between $16 and $20 a piece, you should be able to find a good one. If you get a Marshall, no, Marshall. Marshalls are cameras, Matt. If you get a Manfrotto one, they might be more expensive, like $30 to $50, but still very, very worthwhile getting. So that's how you would attach your camera. Maybe you might want to invest in like a magic arm, which would allow you to basically have one end in the super clamp and then the other, it's like basically two arms that can go in any direction, and the two ends of the arm are both like 1/4-inch studs for cameras, and those move around freely. And then there's something in the middle where you lock it down. And I'm realizing I'm losing you guys, and you don't know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to look it up. And that way you can actually see what I'm talking about. Because it's really hard to describe these things, by the way. Magic arms are not the easiest thing to think about. So I'll cut to this, that we can actually see them. That's a magic arm. So basically there's something in the middle where you can lock it and be able to attach your camera in any angle that you might have or might need for that specific shot. They're incredibly useful. They are kind of expensive, but if you get one on Amazon, I think they're about $20 to $50 price range for a good one. But if you get them like from B&H, you might be spending like $100 or $200 on them. So a little bit more, but again, very worthwhile. But like I said, cameras come, the super clamps come with studs in them that have 1/4-inch ends on them to attach cameras to. So a lot of times what I'm doing is I'm using a super clamp and just attaching my GoPro or my DSLR to that super clamp directly through that stud, and it works perfectly fine. Because remember, I I can maneuver the C-stand and the boom arm in any direction I want. So why do I need to further move that magic arm? I don't need to adjust the camera further than that. I can adjust the C-stand and boom arm to move my camera to whatever angle I need elsewhere. Another way to do it is by using some bar clamps, which maybe if you're in a venue with even higher ceiling, like put it this way. If you're in a room that you can, if the venue won't allow you to attach a camera or any equipment to anything of theirs, then yes, you want to use some C-stands and attach your camera. If it's heavier camera, probably want to use more than one C-stand to attach it up high like that. And you probably want to use some safety cables. But let's say the venue's nice and you're nice to the venue initially, so they're nice back to you, which is always my philosophy on this show. Be nice to others and they'll be nice to you. There are so many venues where I've had other videographers tell me like, hey, this is a horror story venue, don't go there. And then I go there, I'm really nice to them, and they're like, yeah, you can attach to whatever you want. And I'm like, cool. And then there's no problem at all. So just be nice to them. But yeah, so you can also get like ceiling clips, which attach to like a drop ceiling that you can put. It attaches to the drop ceiling, and then you have a stud on there that you can attach a super clamp to, and that way you can attach smaller cameras to drop ceilings. You can also, which you definitely need a safety cable for that kind of stuff. But let's say you have a heavier camera, you might want to use some bar clamps, some Cardellini clamps, probably, maybe some speed rail and stuff like that, and you'll definitely get a heavier rig up on whatever you need to. I know there was a recent venue where I went to that had giant, like, was it like 18-inch beams in the ceiling that we wanted to attach a camera to. No, we wanted to attach a light to it, and there were two like 18-inch wide beams on each side of the set, and the easiest way to do it was a bunch of speed rail, a bunch of like cheeseburger clamps, and just attaching some truss to it. So you might be renting some equipment for the day, but you can definitely get a bird's eye shot no matter how heavy your camera is, if the venue lets you attach to them. If the venue does not allow you to attach to them, you might be better off with a C-stand and some super clamps. I know for some bigger venues that don't allow me to attach to anything of theirs, I use, if you look up in the stage lighting world, there are trees which we use. There are like, if you look up Global Truss ST132 stands, there are crank stands that allow you to mount really heavy things up really high. It's like basically a big light stand, only it's for trussing equipment. It's for heavier things. But you can buy lighter weight stuff like, I was going to say Optimus, but I'm like, this is not Transformers. Olympus, I think. I'll look it up here. Problem with going live. Yeah. So there are a couple different like versions that are lightweight for that kind of stuff, that are crank stands that you can attach your camera to the top of them, again using a super clamp and maybe some fittings and stuff. If you have a GoPro, fittings are easier to kind of maneuver for your camera. If you have a DSLR or a camcorder, you might want to invest in some heavier duty stuff like a magic arm, like I said. But attaching a super clamp to a light stand for stage lighting, a crank stand for stage lighting, is probably best for getting something up really high. I know crank stands can go, I think the biggest one I've ever seen at least goes 50 some feet in the air, which isn't really bad at all. Or just rent a high pod for the day, which are used for a lot of sporting event videography things. So rent a high pod and that'll get you up pretty high. Anyway, that's how you get a really, really high angle and a bird's eye shot of a venue. Yeah. Or just a ton of scaffolding, which you can... it depends. You'd have to look at how big of a camera do you want to attach? If it's a GoPro, then you're probably best off like just getting a super clamp and maybe a couple like GoPro fittings. If you have a DSLR, you might want to get something like a super clamp and a magic arm if you already have a C-stand. But if you don't already have a C-stand, if you need to rent a C-stand, a magic arm, and a super clamp and all this stuff, honestly, it might add up to, or if you go in the other direction and you want to rent a HiPod, you might see that the rental cost for a HiPod or renting a magic arm plus a super clamp plus a C-stand for the day, you might see that the cost of doing all that is about the same as renting out some scaffolding for the night. And really, I've noticed, depending on the size of the venue, but I've noticed sometimes it's easier just to get scaffolding and work with that, because I think it's like around where I live anyway, it's about $15 per section. So, I mean, I know for me, renting a HiPod is sometimes out of the question. Then again, I have a whole bunch of Global Trust ST132 stands that support up to 750 pounds a piece, and they go 18 feet in the air, I believe, 15 feet in the air, something like that. And that's typically good enough for whatever I'm trying to do. Or I just have C-stands and super clamps, and it works really well. And I have a bunch of like rigging stuff like magic arms and speed rail and cheeseburgers and trussing. So really, rigging has never been a problem for me. But I'm always like the guy that's, yeah, let's do this big thing to get a tiny little camera. So yeah. So that's how I do it. But there are a whole bunch of better ways to do it, obviously. And we're going to go to the chocolate milk again because I'm thirsty. I'm talking a lot, people. How long are we on the air, by the way? This is like kind of cool. Started streaming 4 minutes ago, apparently, to my phone. Okay, yeah, that's not true. How long are we actually on the air? That's a good question. See, this is why I don't like having only 2 monitors, because I can only do so much. Yeah. It's saying that we're offline somehow, but I'm still online to my editor. I don't know how that works. Anyway, apparently I'm still online. This is the problem with live network stuff. Yeah. So, I was signed into the wrong channel. That's why. I was signed into Matt Hudson Productions YouTube channel and not VLAMP channel. I'm sorry. I'm just getting back on the VLAMP channel now and seeing that we're on the air for about an hour. Yay. All right. So you can comment and question and stuff like that all you want. And I'll actually see your comments now. Oh, sorry about that. It's late and I'm having chocolate milk, so I'm a little kind of woozy. No, actually, chocolate milk doesn't do that to you. And that's why I have chocolate milk. People are like, why are you drinking chocolate milk right now instead of beer? Because I don't like beer and I like chocolate milk. Shut up. All right. Be quiet. It's fine. And someone's just going to take a clip of this, of me drinking and having like a chocolate mustache. And that's going to be the gif of the day. Anyway, on to the next question. Where's it at? All right. I had to say it. I had to say your names were getting easier. Why did I do that? Okay, for the record, I don't see your names when I put them into the system. I just copy and paste a question, and this is what happens. I don't really read the names. I just read the question to like kind of think out what I'm going to say. Anyway, I'm sorry if I butcher your name, but either if this is your real name, then I'm sorry. If this is not your real name and you just came up with this for your channel or your Facebook, then why? Why do you make things hard for me? Um, from Priota Iftekar. Sorry if I'm butchering it, and sorry if I'm Slate. Okay. Sorry if I'm butchering your name, but I am. So, ooh, 3 people watch. Yay. We're live, people. Comment below your questions if you have any questions. And I actually can see them now because I actually have the thing open. And we'll answer all of your questions live on the show. This question comes in from Priota and says, best mics and lighting for making YouTube videos. So, if you haven't noticed already, we did something this past week that is going to help you guys a lot. A lot of you guys asked me questions on this topic specifically. How do I make YouTube videos? How do I do daily videos? How do I do weekly episodes and monthly live streams? So the lighting that I use right now, don't tell anyone, is 2 old desk lamps. One's an LED and one's a halogen. So I know, you guys are going crazy in the comments because you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to mix lighting. And I've told you on that on this show before not to do that specifically. But yeah, so I mix lighting for this show. I'm using a Canon DSLR, which is hooked up to my computer streaming through OBS Studio. But if you want to know what we normally use to make our YouTube videos, our weekly episodes, and the daily videos, then you can certainly go over here. I will open it up and I will close the question. That way you can actually see it. To our kit page, which I have a link on our channel description, on the YouTube channel description for this page specifically, so you can see the actual kit that we use to make all of our content on this channel. This is not all of the equipment that we have in our inventory. I want to stress that, because if you saw all the equipment that we have in the inventory, then you'd absolutely go berserk. But this is the stuff that we actually use to make this show specifically, and on a weekly basis. So we use 2 Canon T5i cameras, which is actually the Canon camera that I'm using right now to stream with. There uses our A and B cameras. One's with an 18 to 55 millimeter lens. The other one is with a 55 to 250 millimeter lens. And so it's basically like a wide shot and a close-up shot of whatever we're doing. We also have a GoPro Hero 5 Black Edition, which we use to get a lot of like really cool, intricate shots that maybe are like water shots. And we also have the GoPro Hero 3 White Edition camera to do that as our D camera. We have a bunch of GoPros that we use on a regular basis, and so sometimes we switch out these for like Hero 4s, other versions of Hero 3, maybe the Black Edition or something. It just depends on the situation, but for the most part, we're using these 3 cameras right here. We just got an iPhone 6, which is helping us with our teleprompter stuff. I used to use the Apple iPod Touch 6th generation, 32 gigabytes, for my teleprompter, but I've since moved to, now that I have the iPhone 6, I've started to use the iPod Touch as a monitor to my GoPros. That way I can monitor multiple GoPros at the same time, or I can monitor a GoPro and I can also have a teleprompter at the same time. That way, because you can only do one thing at a time on a iPhone or iPod. Then down here we have the actual mixer that I'm using to do my audio for this live stream, and the mixer that I use to mix a lot of the regular content for the show down in the studio, which is the Yamaha MG16XU mixer with USB and FX. We use a bunch of these Zoom H4Ns, which are fantastic recorders for recording all of our field stuff and recording even from our mixer, our Yamaha mixer, to the Zoom as the output. We use Samson CO2 microphones to record all the stuff that you see in the studio is recorded with those microphones. As far as the office here, we have, again, like I said in the very first question, an SM58 microphone with some XLR cables. And the actual headphones I'm wearing right now, the Sennheiser HD 280 Pro headphones, so I can get exceptional good audio for you guys. I've reviewed it on the show before. We actually use the Magnus VT3000 tripods. We have a couple of them for the show that we use to hold all of our cameras up, along with a portable camera track dolly, which is different than the Tripod Studio dolly. Tripod Studio dolly is basically freewheeling casters that can go in any direction. The track dolly are basically wheels on it that are 4 wheels and is on each of the 3 pegs there that you're seeing. And it allows the dolly to go along a speed rail track, and that way, or a plastic track, or whatever kind of track you have, it can go on the track that way, because the track dolly is made to go in basically one or two directions back and forth. The Tripod Studio dolly is allowing us to take a tripod and move it in any direction we need to in the studio. We also have the newer camera shoulder rig, some Genere Spectral LED lights. They're a newer version of the ones we actually have. The ones we have are about double that size, but they since moved to these smaller ones for the Genere brand. Genere is a B&H photo video brand, by the way, and we use those for all of the studio stuff and like interviews when we're on the road, to control all of our DMX lights, which, by the way, Generes are not DMX. They are just LED that you basically can have a dimmer on the back of it to control it. But this DMX lighting Elation 24 stage setter, 24 channel lighting controller, that is for our DMX lights that we're going to talk about here in a second. That's just for stage lighting stuff. That's what we use to control. If you've ever seen these lights down here, the Chavant DJ Slim Par 64 RGB, they are in the studio right now. They're used for the uplighting. We used anywhere between 5 to 10 of them at any given time on this show to do uplighting on the background of our set down there in the studio. Then we also have these Chavant DJ Intimidator Beam LED 350 75 watt moving head spotlights. We have 4 of them that we used to do very specific, more effect lighting stuff for our channel that you might see rarely on the channel, but you do see it on the channel. I know in season 2 and season 3 you saw one of these in the background of the shot the entire season. I'm sorry, season 2 only. Season 3 was a green screen thing on a white backdrop kind of thing. But in season 2 you saw one of them in the background, and we used one of them for our key light that year. I don't know why. That's really overkill. They are about, when I bought them, they were like $1,500 spotlights. I don't know why I used them instead of using Generes, which are so much less costly. But I used them for about a year for my key light. For the studio stuff, for on-the-road stuff, we had LED. We had a halogen soft boxes that we used back then, and I didn't want to use the halogen soft boxes for the studio because the studio stuff took so long to record. Then we have Chavant DMX cable, which we have a bunch of, probably, I think we have over 1,000 feet of DMX cable run in our studio right now, which is crazy. Then we have a ton. I'm serious. Like, here's the part where I start to get really excited about what we have, because I love sandbags, and so I have a ton of them, and I use them almost every day in the studio for different shoots, and including the shoots for this show. They're 15 pounds a piece, and I just use a ton of them. So I didn't really put a number of how many I use for the show, because it's anywhere between, 1 per episode to, 20 some per episode. So it really depends on which kind of episode we're recording that day. For all of our lighting stuff or cameras placed up high. We do have a grid system of speed rail in our studio that we have, that we built into the studio. I didn't put speed rail in this list for this kit, because speed rail is very specific to what we needed. I don't suggest you do that right off the bat. I suggest you start off with, doing light stands and simple stuff. But because I use my studio for more than just this YouTube channel, I wanted some speed rail so I can move all of my lights around and all my cameras around and my microphones around very quickly and move them to any place I wanted to. And that's and having safety cables from Chavant helps me make sure all of the lights that I have and all the stuff that I have on the speed rail up high is secure and it's not going to fall on anyone, including myself, because I don't want to get hurt. Then we have a newer 10x12 dry erase clapboard we talked about before on the show. Also helps us do color correction. All of our cameras are stored in Pelican 1560 cases. We have a bunch of 64 gigabyte SanDisk cards. We use 10,000 milliamp battery packs for anything that we're doing on the road, or sometimes stuff in the studio as well. We use a ton of gaff tape, 2-inch gaff tape. We use adapters to go from our Zoom and our from our battery packs to our Zoom and our Canon DSLRs. We use, these are the super clamps I was just talking about a second ago on the show, Cowboy Studio super clamps. We have a ton of them in the studio that we use to hang all of our lights, our cameras, our microphones, everything from the ceiling. And they come with that stud that allows you to place a camera directly on them. So there's your answer to the previous question, Mr. Richard Tomlinson, from the last question. That's the specific one that we use. You can go to this website right up here, kit.com/Matt-Productions/VLAMP-gear, and you can purchase those on Amazon. It does give us a little kickback for help for suggesting them, but it's no more cost to you, so don't worry about it. We use these magic arms to attach our cameras sometimes to the super clamps. They're from Newer, and they are 11 inches long. They are fantastic, and they are very, very affordable. To edit all of our products or our videos, we do have an insane system for editing because we need a lot more than just for this show. We edit on an Apple iMac 27-inch with Retina 5K display. We have probably the best settings you can buy in that, which is the 4.2 gigahertz Intel Core i7, 16 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte SSD, AMD Radeon Pro 580, 8 gigabyte. Yeah, so really, really good computer that we can use for everything. Our secondary monitor that I'm actually looking at right now is the Acer. Acer, yeah, it's Acer. Great pronunciation for the live stream. And normally something I would edit out later. Why I hate live streams. Just kidding. Love them. Acer H6 Series 23-inch IPS LED HD monitor. That is our program monitor that I'm able to see everything going out. Then we have a ton of WD 8 terabyte MyBook desktop hard 3.0 external hard drives to store all of our footage on. They're programmed in a RAID system. That way we can, have backups of everything just in case something fails. We have Red Giant Pluralize, which helps us synchronize all of our footage for all of our recorded content. Adobe Premiere, Final Cut Pro X, we use both of them on a regular basis. So all you Final Cut users that think we just use Premiere, all you Premiere users that think we just use Final Cut, we use both of them. So don't get upset with us. We have Audition, we have Photoshop, Illustrator, which Audition we use to edit all of our audio, along with, on a very rare occasion, using Acoustica Mixcraft 6.0. For all of our thumbnails, we use Photoshop, Illustrator, and Lightroom to edit those. To live stream and to record our screen for any video tutorials or editing tutorials, we use OBS Studio software, which actually one of my friends and a friend of the show, Chris Krasnowski, suggested to me. And I absolutely love this program that I'm using right now. It's so nice. I love it so much. And it's free to download. So I highly suggest getting that. To import all of our footage, we use Unitech 3.0 multi-in-one card reader. We also use Logic, Adobe Premiere keyboard cover. I also have the Final Cut version of that, which allows us to put a cover over top of our keyboard to know all of the keys very, very easily. I know I memorize most of the keys anyway. It just helps me for those keys that I didn't memorize yet and I hardly ever use. So I'm able to just really easily find whatever key I'm looking for. And sometimes just like looking down at the keyboard and knowing, hey, that button is orange or that button's yellow is. I mostly just memorize like, oh yeah, the orange button is the one I want, not the yellow one, you know. So sometimes it's just a matter of I memorize the color, not the key, and so looking down at that helps me. And that way I can switch out between the two whenever I'm editing on different programs, because I know you can buy. So don't tell me in the comments because I know you can do it. I know you can buy keyboards that are about $110 extra for your Apple computer that are specific to Premiere or Final Cut, but then I would have to buy two of them because I have both programs. So I wanted a cover they're a little expensive for what they are, but a whole lot less expensive than just buying two different keyboards. The actual microphone stands that I use for this live stream, as well as some like studio recording stuff, and for all my voiceover work, I use onstage stands, tripod with boom arms there. I also use newer automobile suction car cup, and that kind of stuff for my GoPro to mount my GoPro in really weird places sometimes, and I also use it to mount to outside of vehicles for the show. Whenever we're doing on the road stuff, I use this tripod adapter for my smartphone in order to have a monitor for my GoPro on my rig at all times, or to have a teleprompter on the show. So anytime you see me use a teleprompter, I'm using that right there. It's a great little product. Anytime we're doing a photography thing, I'm using these Photo for Easy Capture waist belt holsters, and I'm also using this DBX-T2 cable tester on almost every shoot I do. I take this thing on every shoot because if a cable has something wrong with it, I want to know what's wrong with it right away. That way I can either fix it or I can replace it. And this cable tester is the best thing you can possibly buy for making sure everything works. It has like BNC, RCA, XLR, Speakon, I believe, and 1/4 inch, 1/8 inch, like every kind of thing you can think of. It has the tester for it right there. You can test and see if everything's working properly or not. So I'm going to hop off of that because, I don't want you to see that screen too much. Anyway, so that is our question portion of the show. And again, it's chocolate milk time because chocolate milk, fun times. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below right now on the chat for us. Anything pertaining to video, lighting, audio, music, or photography, or graphic design, or anything like that, leave them in the comments below. Also, chocolate milk. No. Actual thing I want to say is, if you have any suggestions for the show, like I said, season 6 is coming up here very shortly. I'm not 100% as to when it's airing yet. I know it's going to air not this month. In January, it's going to air. January 2018, it's going to air. But I'm not sure exactly what week yet, so don't hold me to anything. But I have a couple ideas. For instance, we have an episode coming up. I'm pretty sure we're going to produce all these. Don't quote me on them. But since you guys are hanging around for half an hour, I kind of feel like I'm obligated to tell you some secret information. Some of the things I'm thinking about are things like how to build a taco utility cart. Let me get my idea book out, actually. I can just do that a whole lot more easily than anything else. And that way you can actually hear the ideas. All right, so VLAMP idea book. Building the ultimate camera rig building a utility taco cart, taking a look inside our editing workstations, and actually seeing the workstation that we're editing on every day. You get to see another episode I'm planning is a behind the scenes look at our MHP Super Bowl commercial 2018, which we're doing a Super Bowl commercial again. Yeah, spoiler alert. It looks so good. It looks so good. It's an amazing commercial that I think you guys will love, but I can't talk about it on the show or here until it airs, and that's Super Bowl night, which isn't until February. So you guys watching right now will know that we're doing a Super Bowl commercial, but you don't know exactly what it's going to be. So we're planning a behind the scenes episode to show you how it was made for the channel here. We're also talking about an episode that I kind of just thought of 2 nights ago. Yeah, I think 2 nights ago. I was editing like 1,000 photographs 2 nights ago. And yeah, 2 nights ago. Sorry. My head's been like going crazy this month. It's December, people. It's busy, busy month. Plus we're making a TV show right now. So it's going crazy. And we're shooting it all in 4K. So there's your other question of the day to the other guy. Yeah, sometimes you're shooting in 4K and then you're delivering in 1920. It sucks. But another episode we're coming out with, hopefully, is going to be how to mask out unwanted items in Lightroom. Whole bunch of like editing tutorial kind of things along those lines of in Premiere, in Final Cut, in Lightroom, in Illustrator, whole bunch of different things that we can do in there. So if you have any suggestions as to what exactly you want to see, leave those in the comments below. Leave them in the live chat on this video right now. We're only going to be going live for a couple more minutes, so I want your suggestions. I want to hear what you guys want to see on the show. I don't want to just keep making episodes and just hoping that you guys are going to appreciate them. I want to start making content because you guys have asked for it. You guys have wanted this to be an episode. I also want to know maybe how long of an episode you want to see. Maybe you want to see longer content, like an hour-long content. Maybe you want to see shorter content, like 5-minute top episodes. And that's okay. Unfortunately, like episodes on how to build a utility taco cart is going to be a lot longer than 5 minutes kind of episode because there's a lot to get to in that episode. Or I can make a multiple set episode. But you got to tell me what you guys want. We're not, our channel isn't on the new community tab that all these other channels have gotten access to. And so I want to know your opinions on, maybe some of the things that you want to see out there. In this new community tab, a lot of people are asking right now, what do you guys want to see on this new community tab? How do you want me to use this new community tab? I don't have it yet. I'm not allowed it yet. YouTube isn't allowing creators of my size to use that tool yet. So I'm not able to do a poll for you guys of like, hey, what do you guys want to see? I need your opinions in the comments under the video. So if you see any of our videos or go to our channel and hit community, I believe it's community tab there, or commentary tab. I'd have to look it up. I'm going to look it up right now so I'm not wrong in saying what I'm saying. But you can go to our channel and there's a tab on our channel where you can actually look it up, and you're going to be able to see like discussion tab. You can click on the discussion tab and see. I posted a comment there. When was it? Yesterday. What sort of content would you guys like to see in season 6 of our show coming in January? Would you prefer we do more videos regarding how to make music videos? Would you like to see more editing tutorials or something else? We're really trying to make the content you enjoy watching, and without your opinions or suggestions, we cannot do that. So please take a second and let us know in the comments below. Thank you. Reply to that question with what you would like to see on the show. Maybe answer it with, hey, I'd like to see maybe idea. and I kind of like content that's between this many minutes and this many minutes long. Let me know both of those answers. And I have a list of stuff like this, like I said in the very beginning of this hour and a half live stream now. This isn't me saying that I don't have any ideas for the show left and I'm running out. I have plenty more of ideas. I just want to know what corresponds to your list. I don't want to create 10,000 episodes and then like 100 of them are great. And I want to kind of feel out what you guys want to see and pick from my list and see if any of them match. And if some of them match, we're definitely going to make those episodes. If none of them match, then we're going to rethink some things. And and I'll probably end up going with your ideas because I like your ideas. So comment below during the live chat here. I will still see it for like a minute or two after the show ends. After that, comment below on the video on demand version or comment on any of our videos or on the discussion tab on our channel and let me know what you guys want to see in the future, because without your commentary, this is just a one-way streak, and I don't like a one-way street. I like this being our channel, not just my channel, not just the MHP universe thing. I want this to be a two-way thing here, where you guys are involved, and I know you guys can't be involved in making all the content, but I want you guys involved with, like, what kind of things would you like to see on the channel, kind of thing. So please do get involved with that part. If there's any questions you have, please let them, please write them. Why did I say let them? Write them under any of the videos that we have on our channel. I will answer them during the live streams every month. And if you have any suggestions, I will address them. And I will definitely look through them. Any suggestions at all, no matter how stupid, I will look through them. And I will read them, I promise. Okay? So yeah, with all that said, this is our last live stream of 2017. Might do one at the end of the year, I don't know. But this is the last big one of the year. And with that, I'd like to say thank you guys for joining us for this many seasons of the show. 5 seasons, wow. You guys have joined us and been with us for a very long time now, and I want to say thank you for sticking with us, for helping us grow in this channel, and helping us. I've learned a lot on the show. This season has been incredible. This season we surpassed our 100th episode, which I'll be honest, I planned on doing that in the second season of the show, but I was extremely naive to think that I could come up with that much content in that much time. So I was trying to do like 5 episodes a week. If you're not aware, it's just not possible. Episodes have to be once a week for it to be even reasonably sane for me to do on my own. But I will say thank you guys for letting us surpass that 100th episode. Thank you so much for just being with us this amount of time. Like I said, if you have if you would like to know how we make this show, then go to this website right here, kit.com /Madison Productions /VLAMP-gear. That's also linked to on the About Us section on our channel here, where you can see all of the great equipment that we use to make the show. And like I said, just thank you guys, because it's been an awesome ride here, and really without you guys I couldn't have done it. Without the incredible team that's behind me, including Chris Wisniewski, Dave Walters, all the guests on the show, all the people who answer questions behind the scenes, all the people who are producers on the show, who help me be me and have this YouTube channel. Thank you guys so much. And yeah, all that said, I guess we're going to end the live stream here. But the discussion is not over, so leave those comments in the video on demand version. And I hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas, a wonderful New Year, I hope to see you all in January with season 6 of the show. Like I said, I don't know exactly what date it's going to premiere yet. Sorry, I don't know that information. I do know that we have a bunch of content planned. Great content planned for the very beginning of the season, but you guys are going to see that in all due time. And yeah, I hope you guys get all you want for Christmas. I hope you spend lots of time with family and friends and everyone you love. And I'm hoping that remember on New Year's night, grab some chocolate milk. Don't grab a beer. Don't drink and drive, people. Enjoy some cold milk, because everyone loves some chocolate milk. Everyone cool loves some chocolate milk. So I just offended everyone that doesn't like chocolate milk. But great way to end a live stream, Matt. Offend half of your audience. But anyway, we're gonna say good night and good morrow for tonight's episode. Thank you all for joining us. This is VLAMP, Video Lighting, Audio, Music, and Photography How-To Show. I am, of course, your host, Matt Haslam. This is episode 134, live stream for December 2017, people. We made it to episode 134. Holy crap, that's a lot of episodes. Anyway, have a great night, and goodbye for now. See you next time. Bye-bye.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy